Check, check, testing the audio. How's the chat room look? Can you guys see me? Can you see the stream is starting screen? Gonna start in a few minutes, just working out some kinks on my end. Hello, everybody. Phone lines are open. Going to be taking phone calls discussing Rachel Kirkconnell's apology statement. If you haven't seen it yet, we'll be discussing it right up top. Keep it kind in the comment section. Yeah, I've got an error on my end with the chat too. Trying to work it out. Hey Nikki, I appreciate the voicemail. There is no judgment as far as nerves go. Hello, Canada. Leah from Michigan. Give it up, Leah. Close to refresh. I just don't want to refresh the stream that's airing this all. Oh, refresh chat. Doi. There it is, folks. 2021. Your boy's figuring out the internet. Next thing you know, MySpace. Get that down. She made the statement 5 minutes ago, guys. Don't worry if you didn't see it. We'll cover it right away. Just give me 2 minutes to get this chat going. You like that beat? It's a little weird, isn't it? You just see the start screen. That's okay. We haven't started yet. We're at 72 viewers, though. We're about to get started. Let me just sip this Diet Coke, take a breath, and we'll get into it, okay? I probably already know, but Rachel put an apology. Yeah, no, absolutely. Hello, Wisconsin. It is a chilly 66 degrees here in sunny Los Angeles. Don't worry, we're paying for it in Texas. Tax that sun. Getting a phone call from California right now. Feel free to call in 401-213-9828. We're going to jump right into this conversation very shortly. Take your bathroom break right now. We'll be getting started very, very shortly, under 2 minutes. Dave, the CNN of Bachelor. Oh, I hope not. Can you imagine? Coming up next, Barbara Walters. All right, let's get a good song and then we'll get started. So sad shuffle. Oh yeah. Now we're feeling it. You guys feeling it? We'll get this party started. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Oh, that's me. Hold on, get out of there. Hey everybody. Dave Neal here. I'm sipping on this CBD infused toothpick. Not a sponsor. Just very tasty. Put it over there for now. Alrighty. How's everybody doing in the chat? Please do me a favor and gently caress that like button with consent. Just tap the like button. Helps the YouTube algorithm. I apologize. I mean, I've had 3 videos come out in the last 30 minutes, so I can't imagine you guys have been up to date on this. But let me go over here to the statement. We're going to get right into talking about Rachel Kirkconnell. I've been calling her Kirkconnell since the cows came home, but apparently it's Kirkconnell. We're going to discuss her apology. We're going to discuss Chris Harrison. It's going to be a little charged, but I don't think we can discuss anything else at this point. This is 1000% the news of Bachelor Nation. So we'll get right into it. Let me give me 2 seconds here to just boot up this apology by Rachael, and then we'll discuss it. I'm already getting phone calls. Here's the voicemail number right there. Leave a voicemail, 401-213-9828. Oz is in the house. He's the moderator. We call him Sheriff Oz, so everyone make sure you say hi to Sheriff Oz. He's going to be in there. Oz, you're in charge. If something looks hateful, if you don't like it, just kick him out. We don't have time for it, okay? We're all about discussion. Just know the difference between hateful terms. Know the difference between bad intentions, bad faith. And if you have any question, I'll just give you the old axe and we'll get you out of there if you're not sure. Less is more. B-Bean, how are you, my man? Good to see you. Cal Hansen's in the house. CBD infused toothpick. What a time to be in life. Yeah, these were sent to me. They say suck on one, but if you really want to have fun, suck on both sides, so your boy's going to be partying. You can't feel it, but it's good cinnamon. All right, so let's pull up. Here we go. Let's go to this display. Don't mind me while I'm going to be sort of talking my way through the tech side of things right here. But let's go straight to Rachel's page. So if you haven't been following the news, Reality Steve had mentioned that Rachel, that her statement was rejected. They gave her 100 words. Oh, let me move this. They gave her 100 words to make a statement. And apparently ABC rejected it. And she wanted to make a statement that didn't include Matt James because she said she wanted to make a statement about, her past, where she comes from. So we'll pull that up. We'll read it. We'll discuss it. In the end, this took way too long to get out there. Here, I'll put this right there if anyone wants to leave a voicemail. There's the number, 401-213-9828. Just leave a voicemail. You can call that number. It'll go straight to my phone. We've got a couple voicemails already in the loop. Let's see. Oh, I'm glad everyone's getting their postcards that asked for a postcard. I'm glad you guys are getting your postcards in. Sent them out the other day. The Catarama. Hi, Dave. Ready to chat? Good to see you. Paige wants to know, what's the word count? This is a good question. I was just thinking the same thing. It looks like it's more than 100 words, but I'm not great at being able to tell here. So I'm sharing my screen here, if you don't mind me. So this is her statement. I don't know if it's big enough for you guys to see it. Try to get myself out of here. Wow. Hold on, folks. I've gotten so much better at running this, but I'm still horrible. So there's me. I'm small. Get myself to the corner here. Good. Whatever. There I am. Instagram goes to the corner. Perfect. All right, we can make this bigger. We can also take out that there. Slide that out of the way. All right, folks. Here we are. I don't know if you can read that. All right, let's cut the music. Let's just read this so we're all on the same page. While there have been rumors circulating, there have also been truths that have come to light that I need to address. I hear you, and I'm here to say I was wrong. At one point, I didn't recognize how offensive and racist my actions were, but that doesn't excuse them. My age or when it happened does not excuse anything. They're not acceptable or okay in any sense. I was ignorant, but my ignorance was racist. I am sorry to the communities and individuals that my actions harmed and offended. I am ashamed about the lack of education, but it is no one's responsibility to educate me. I have learned and will continue to learn how to be anti-racist, because it's important to speak up in the moment and not after you're called out. If you are a person who doesn't understand the offense in question, I urge you to learn from my mistakes and encourage you to use them as a teachable moment. As for my family, I love them and how they raised me to be my own individual. They have always encouraged me to have my own views, opinions, and beliefs. As I was thinking about what I wanted to say, I couldn't help but think about how sick people must be of reading these kinds of statements. How a person didn't realize the trauma that their actions would inflict on other people. It must get so exhausting. I want to put my energy towards preventing people from making the same offensive mistakes that I made in the first place, and I hope I can prove this to you moving forward. Racial progress and unity are impossible without white accountability, and I deserve to be held accountable for my actions. I will never grow unless I recognize what I have done is wrong. I don't think one apology means that I deserve your forgiveness, but rather I hope I can earn your forgiveness through my future actions. Let's discuss. Let's discuss. What do you guys think? Let's read some comments. What do you guys think? She didn't discuss anything specific, but again, will somebody do me the honor and count how many words this is? Because according to the news, she was only allowed to release a 100-word statement. According to The Sun, let me see if I can pull that up here. Give me a second. I'm going to pull up Reality Steve here. Save you guys this in case I accidentally click on something I'm not allowed to show. So let's go over here. I should remove Chris Harrison. I had Chris Harrison as the guy for all my other videos. All right, here we go. Back to normal. There he is. All right. Lex says, feels like it's kind of copy and paste. Now, look, I'm not going to tell people what to feel. I'll give you guys my opinion. I'll read some of yours. My opinion, first off, is that she hit a lot of the check marks that you'd want to hit. Let's go back to the display capture here. She hit a lot of the check marks you would want her to hit. She says, I didn't recognize how they were racist, offensive, my age, or when it happened. It's not an excuse. So she said, age isn't an excuse. I was ignorant, and my ignorance was racist. Well, that's interesting too, because I had a video talking about, is it ignorance or is it racism? She says it's both. Okay, ownership there. I'm sorry. And then she says she urges people to learn from her mistakes, use it as a teachable moment. I mean, in the very least, this all has to be a teachable moment. In the very least, regardless of what happens, has to be a teachable moment. She's thankful for her family and how they raised her, which is a little ironic because if they raised her to be an individual, you know, a lot of times ignorance comes because you're stuck in some sort of groupthink. But you know, that's okay. She couldn't help but think of how sick people are reading these kinds of statements, of course, you know. But there's a reason why they sound this way, because I think there's so much people want to cover when they talk about this. B-Bean says, you should not display Chris Harrison's face. Yeah, it was left over from a previous video. You know, like this is like very high-tech. Let me fire my assistant. You're fired. Okay, he's gone. Lex says, I'm Native American, and I got to say, we are the same age. I wouldn't be caught dead doing something like that. Like what? Yeah, look, that's something we can debate till the cows come home. Obviously, she says it was wrong. Abby's getting a postcard. We got you, Abby. Nikki's in the house. Hey, Nikki, how are you? Good to see you, Nikki. She says, hey, Dave, I'm at work as usual. Thank you for being compassionate and never following anything blindly. I respect your opinions a lot. Well, I mean, you read some of these articles people write, and it is super misleading. It's very complex. So we're going to discuss how there's so much wrong with the sort of dying media culture of short-form interviews, and the fact she was only allowed to make a statement. Let me know, guys. Let me know how long the statement is if anyone wants to count it. I know. I mean, I can't copy and paste it, right? Yeah, no, I'd copy and paste it and throw it in a Word document, but it's a PDF. Let's just see on average. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's call it 20 words per line. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's call it, I'd call that about 400 words. No, maybe 350. I'm gonna estimate that that's 350 words. Jeez, I couldn't imagine a 100-word statement. Queen of Hearts says, how did she suddenly become racist? Why did she even go on The Bachelorette if she knew Matt was black? You start out innocent, or your parents tell you in your first 5 years you soak up like a sponge. Yeah, I mean, look, we could, it's one of those things. You could, we'll put it this way, we don't have the answers. We don't have the answers. We don't know we don't know how she was raised. We don't know where she comes from. But finally, we have today's statement. Again, not a magic wand. Doesn't, cure everything. But finally, we have today's statement. And you can't help but wonder. Was this statement made because Chris Harrison was under so much flack? I mean, let's be honest. If I'm Chris Harrison today, I get everybody on the phone and go, you get Rachel's statement out now. Get this, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it's right, but you have to imagine that those conversations were being made. You have to imagine that. People are commenting and telling me she posted a statement on her Instagram. Yeah, well, we know. I made that video. Literally, as soon as I made a video saying they weren't letting her post her statement, a minute later she posted the statement, and I was like, fire up the next video. So apologies for all the videos. I'm not going to retract previous videos. We're just going to go with the information as it comes. Mador says, I mean, what else could she have said? Did anyone imagine her apology would be anything different? It's kind of all words at some point, in my opinion. Well, look, I mean, getting a phone call right now. I can't assume she's lying or telling the truth with her statement. Her statement is what it is. Obviously, like she says, it would be better to learn before doing these things. But that's enlightenment. Levels of enlightenment, one level is, making a mistake, learning from it, and then not doing it again. Then the next level is avoiding that mistake altogether. Now, which one of us, some mistakes you can avoid from a mile away. You go, I'm not going to take that bait. And then there's others where she's atoning for her past. I don't expect her apology to sound anything other than how it sounds. But at the same time, this is what people have been waiting for. And of course, people have said, regardless of her apology, the damage is done. And that's fine. That's your call how you want to react to it. Rel Gerard says, give her the benefit of the doubt. My God, let's calm down. She was being a stupid college girl. Well, look, I don't necessarily disagree, but at the same time, I understand that the conversation has to be multidimensional. You have to understand someone made mistakes, but you have to also understand because of that and because of ABC kind of airing a platform where people are discovering and like reliving a lot of these mistakes, it has an effect on others that might not have an effect on you. I don't get offended when I see somebody dressed up in a Native American costume. That's not for me to be offended by. It doesn't mean somebody else isn't offended by that. I can't go around because I would be exhausted if I got offended on behalf of other people. But I can't also judge people for how they feel their feelings. B. Bean said, her future actions are far more important than this statement. I completely agree. Do me a favor, guys. If you haven't already, just hit the like button. It's free. You can just hit the like button, and it helps more people find the video so we can keep this discussion going. Watasha Nobaka says she should have... Apologies if I just butchered that. Says she should have publicly apologized to the girl she hurt with her actions. I don't exactly know how to address what you're saying because I don't know what girl you're talking about, and I do know that this is going to be an evolving story. We know this won't be the last we hear from Rachel about this, but I think it was so pressing in our culture, like our bubble that we are in. It was so pressing that we get her statement that it was becoming a much bigger story. With Chris Harrison trying to navigate, when she makes her statement, it'll be X, Y, and Z. With him trying to dance around that, he made a good number of mistakes. I've already made 4 videos about it. Okay? We can keep addressing it. We can keep addressing that, but I clearly think by him talking about it, it definitely heightened the situation where she needed her response to come out very soon. All right, so let's see. Okay, we got a couple phone calls coming in, so let's just start getting to them. Give me 2 seconds to make sure this is set up. I had a little bit of a technical crisis before we started. So much going on. And then my fiance, Tasha, called me, and I was like, we got a code red right now, so if you don't mind, just call me back later. A code red. Oh, that's the wrong one. I just connected the wrong Bluetooth. Hold on, folks. All right, let's go up to the top here. 512 people in the section, so clearly people want to be talking about this. Elizabeth Nunez says, literally, we are analyzing an apology now. Who cares? She said sorry, and let's all move on with our lives. Well, Elizabeth, to be fair, this is quadruple my normal viewers, so people care. So we're going to honor the viewers in the chat and talk about it. And apologies are good, but obviously they're not a cure-all type of thing. But Elizabeth, if you'd like to elaborate your point, just call in 401-213-9828, and we'll talk about it. Scott Jarrett asks a question we've all been asking. Why did they let this fester? Why did ABC let this story fester? It's been out for a very long time. Scott, I'll tell you why. ABC let this story fester because they wanted to wait till they could monetize the story on their TV program. And that should be just as bad as news media holding on to a news article, a news story, until it suits them right. When information comes out, you need to get that to the surface. So if she wanted to apologize and they weren't letting her, they did a disservice to her because they let the story get way out of hand, where she could have apologized the same day and it would have been bad, but it would have been, like you said, it wouldn't have been festering for so long. This whole story is just mold right now, in the sense that they've waited so long to get their statements out that it's now not enough for people. I'm going to connect my Bluetooth, and then we'll get into it. The Duchess of Essex says this season has been a hot mess. I agree with you there. It has been a hot dumpster fire. But hey, what do we expect? It's 2021. What do we expect? All right, I'm trying to get this. Would you like to pair a smartphone? Yes, I'm trying to pair my Bluetooth. Hi, Tasha. How are you? Good. We got 550 people in here, and I'm trying to just get things going. What's that? Oh, my police report came in. Although, you guys, my license plates were stolen, and it appears my police report finally came in, which is good. I was going to go to the DMV today, but then I figured I should not have to go to the dentist and then the DMV. Like, that's just not fair. So thank you so much for that. I got a police report filled out, but they used my middle name instead of my first name, so that'll probably get rejected. I digress. So yeah, Tasha, Rachel Kirkconnell has released her statement. We've been talking about it. She pretty much owns up to all the mistakes she made. She says, even though I was young, that's not an excuse. Even though I was ignorant, that's not an excuse. It was racist, X, Y, and Z. Some people accept it. Some people say it's not enough. What Rachel said was, I don't think one apology means that I deserve your forgiveness, but rather I hope I can earn your forgiveness through my future actions. Again, coming from a white bloke like me, you know, low rent Dak Shepard, as someone called me. Coming from me, what does that mean, you know? Maybe not as much. And I'm not quick to forgive, but I definitely like to pay attention. We'll see where it goes. Oh, Oz likes the earpods. Thank you. You know what happened? I got these earpods. These are meant for, like, rockers, right? I got these because the headphones are just all-consuming. It's too much. My ears get sweaty. So I got these nice little guys. All right, I got the Bluetooth set up. Let's start playing some of your voicemails. Feel free to call in. I'd love to hear what you think. Just keep it respectful. Here's the voicemail line, 401-213-9828. And here we go. Oh, Abby called in, our lawyer, law student extraordinaire. So let's start with this right now. First call. I believe this is Oz. Let's see.
Hi guys, hi Bachelor Nation. I just wanted to see what you guys think about Heather coming in with that soccer mom energy with the car from 1985, from way before when she was born, probably from the Pittsburgh airport. Just some craziness there. And I think Abigail, this is her last week on the show. Next week will be her last week on the show, sadly. And hopefully she has a future in Bachelor in Paradise. So bye and have a good one, everyone. Okay, bye.
Oz, thank you so much, my man. Yeah, how about that minivan that Heather had? You know, that's like when you get to the car rental and they have nothing left, and then they're like, well, we have this one car, and it's just like some Chevy Volt from 1960. Did they have Volts back then? Low rent, Dak Shepard, that's right, all day long. Yeah, but a high rent, but a high rent, Zach Braff. Thank you so much. I'll take that. You rent when you can't buy. Yeah, that Dodge Caravan, so unsexy. But, you know, if you've ever been to Costco, you just need a good sliding door with one of those, like, keyless entries. You know what I mean? All right, let's keep this thing going. Thank you so much for the call, Oz. As always, very much appreciated. The voicemails are lining up, so let's keep going with them.
It's Oz.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Here it is. Mickey from South Carolina.
Hey, Dave. It's Mickey from South Carolina.
Hi.
And I never call people just because I'm afraid that I will say the wrong thing. And I think that Rachel may have felt the same way at one point. I'm glad she finally made her statement. I appreciated it, but I am a young white girl from South Carolina. So I am super interested to hear what...
Oh, sorry. This thing always goes off. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that, Mickey.
In Bachelor Nation, and your other viewers have to say about the whole subject. And I'm just here ready to listen and learn more. Thanks. And I love your channel, and just keep pushing out content. You're doing amazing. Thanks.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm like the Lamaze class of content. Just keep pushing. Just keep pushing. It's going to come out one of these days. Hey, thank you so much for that. And thank you for, understanding that there are nerves involved. If I know you guys haven't watched all the content I've made today, but I showed a video from Caitlyn Bristowe. She looked like she was in a hostage takeover. I'll play a little bit up for you guys. Let's go to Caitlyn Bristowe. I think I'm spelling it wrong. Usually Instagram knows what I want. So she looked like she was in a hostage takeover because she was nervous about what she wanted to say. She just, here she is. Just didn't want to mess it up. Look how nervous she was.
I have nails. I never have nails.
Oh. Phone call. So here she is.
She's incredible. And I just watched Taylor Nolan's live with her, and basically they broke down the Chris Harrison interview. Hi, Katie. This is, of course, everybody is always scared to talk about it because you could make a mistake.
Thanks,
and
Melody.
I'm open to making mistakes, and that's fine. I'm a little uncomfortable right now, but in ways where I just want to speak clearly and have everyone understand where I'm coming from. So,
and that's okay. It's okay to just want to make sure you get it out right. I'm a comic. There are times I'm into some janky, getting a call from Vegas, sorry. I need to find a way to turn this off when calls are coming in. There are times when I'm, working out new material in front of 5 people in a club, and it might come out wrong, but it's not in a platform where people will use it all against you. If Caitlyn were to say something that came out wrong, it could be used against her. But it's important to understand that people are trying to articulate these feelings. As Ashley Spivey said, I can tell that you're uncomfortable in watching your words, but letting people see you work through it to stand up for what is right is so important. Perfection is not required here. It's nice when we get someone like the black Bachelorette just come in there and owning an 8-minute. She came in there and just destroyed the house. Flawless set. Just poetic, That's great when that happens. But even if you're going to stumble and befuddle your way through what's coming out of your heart, that's okay too. That's okay too. Justine, how are you? Why did Matt defend her and say it was rumors, but now she is saying it's truth? I'm confused. Well, look, Justine, I don't know. Yeah, we're going to have to work through a lot of things, so I can't speak towards something I haven't read up on yet. Banda Queen says, personally, I don't want anything from her except to unlearn her racism, especially since she might be the Bachelorette and might marry a black man and have black children. Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you. Marilyn said, I'm more upset with the production company. Feels like they left her out there on her own. This young woman had no media training and no experience. I think she's 23, 24, right? Well, look, here's the deal. And let's be careful here. We can feel like they, just railroaded her all we want. It doesn't mean she shouldn't apologize for what she did. But what we saw here that happened in the last 7 weeks was a grand F up by all involved. By the people that were holding her from speaking. I'm sure she wanted to say this 6 weeks ago. And it doesn't make it any better 6 weeks ago. But, with this society where we want instantly to know people's opinions on things, I'm sure she's had time to think it over and came to a lot of these conclusions a long while ago. So it's really a shame that they held on to this. I think they were planning on holding on to it all season long. I really do. I think that was the plan all along. All right, let's go into another voicemail here. Thank you so much, Mickey from South Carolina. I appreciate you.
Hey, Dave. Abby Thomason here. How's it going?
Hi, Abby.
Just wanted to say I've really appreciated the videos you put out this week. I think we all came for the entertainment and Bachelor content and humor, but a lot of us have stayed because of your willingness to take on these difficult topics and talk about them in a rational way, in an empathetic way. So I just wanted to say, keep up the good work. You know, I thought Rachel's apology was good and thorough as far as apologies go. But I know people want to see, you know, accountability and a change. I kind of wonder what that looks like. I think that's an important question to ask is, what does it look like to take accountability and to do the acceptable level of penance, I guess, you know, before the public accepts you as genuine. So I'm just interested to see how that plays out. But anyway, have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Abby. I got goosebumps. Abby, you do something where you're really good in even asking questions. You're so smart with your questions. So I appreciate you, first of all. I appreciate you and your kind words that you said to me. Look, here's the thing. I'm a sensitive guy. A lot of comics are. If I'm on stage and someone's in the front row with their arms crossed looking, I want to crack them. I want to make them smile and laugh. So I feel the energy of the room. So it would just be insane of me to just be talking about something like, Kit's boots or whatever when this is going on. You know what I mean? It's elephant in the room doesn't do this justice. So I thank you, but also how fraudulent would it be to just be like, no, I only do the fun stuff. No, we're here for it. We're here for it. So thank you so much. So your question, and let me know in the comment section if anyone has an answer. Your question is, what does accountability look like? What is penance? And I totally respect the question, and I know you're asking it more, I think, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think you're asking it in like a hypothetical way. I think the penance isn't measured like, all right, I did this and now I'm done. It's just it's a lifestyle change. It's learning to be accountable for what you put out on your social media. It's supporting diversity and equity, and I think you can't just go into hiding at this point if you're her. You have to say, well, my statements, even though I might have made them, even though I might have liked that photo, my ignorance, my racism, even though I did it with zero platform, it got brought to a level that's so big now that I have to do that much and then some of good. And it's a tall order to ask, but she's got a giant platform now. She has 350,000 followers, right? Let's go over here. Is this her page? Let's see what she's at. I'm sure the comments are blocked, but she's got she's got 330,000 followers. So, did she did she have comments? Hold on, let's see. Yeah, it says she has 613 comments. How come I can't see them? I don't know why. Oh, here we go. Thank you for this. Exciting to see your journey. Let's see if there's any Bachelor contestants have commented. Keep doing the work, and I hope to see some action. I also hope your family is also trying to learn and understand why their blind defense of you wasn't supportive and actually hinders your ability to grow. This is your opportunity to do a lot of work, and I hope you use your platform to share resources and speak out against injustice. I'll be honest with her. Credit where it's due for keeping the comment section on. Chris Harrison didn't do this. Let's go to Chris Harrison's over here. Chris Harrison shut down that comment section real fast. Let's go to Chris Harrison. My page is so full of just so much random. Chris Harrison. I don't think I follow him. I'm not good with Instagram. Like someone had mentioned Chris Harrison coming in hot, like he's doesn't he look like he's on Shark Tank? You know, you're like, hi, I'd like 20% of your company. So anyway, you know what? Okay, I might have to take that back. He did leave his comments up. Friendly, loving reminder to our white Bachelor Nation family. This is not our apology to accept. Interesting. Just clicked on the first one. Friendly, loving reminder to our white Bachelor Nation family. This is not our apology to accept. Very interesting stuff happening. I am getting a bunch of voicemails, so I want to get to all of them. Let's see. It says people are people. Amen to that. Dave, from this season just posted at once. There's a lot of posts happening. Let me know if there's any Instagrams that you want me to check out right now. You know what the best one is that I always fall back on is Bachelor Scoop, because they'll post all the different, like I'm getting a ton of calls and messages right now from all this. Thank you guys so much. We've just crossed over 700 viewers for the first time. I do appreciate that. It does help when we are trying to get the message out. I think what I love about our community here in this chat, and this might get a little crazy when there are more people here, but I do love the accountability. We have to be nice and kind to each other. Oz is in the comment section. By the way, Oz, text me your Venmo. I want to put your Venmo up there. Do you have a Venmo, Oz? Send me the text or put it in the comment section, and I'll put a note up. Don't send me any super chats or anything. Oz is doing the Lord's work over there, so I want to forward that over to him if possible, just because he's over there in the moderator section. And we're gonna get into all this, but anyway, Bachelor Nation. Scoop, let's see what they've got going on. Okay, so they posted Rachel's statement, of course. This statement's only 1 hour old, so we're right on top of it. Abigail posted this. We are the women of Bachelor Season 25. 25 women who identify as BIPOC were cast on this historic season that was meant to represent change. We are deeply disappointed and want to make it clear that we denounce any defense of racism. Any defense of racist behavior denies the lived and continued experiences of BIPOC individuals. These experiences are not to be exploited or tokenized. Rachel Lindsay continues to advocate with grace for individuals who identify as BIPOC within this franchise. Just because she is speaking the loudest doesn't mean she is alone. We stand with her, we hear her, and we advocate for change alongside her. So this is interesting. Everyone posted this all at once. We are the women of Bachelor Season 25. Did you hear that, Tasha? You in there, Tasha? I think she's in the bathroom. How brave and badass that they all released a statement together in a show that is built on everybody tearing each other apart for the prize. We've got 25 women come together with a statement that they all support. Olivia says, I'm seeing a lot of microaggressions in the chat right now. Olivia, I am putting about 8% of my energy into the chat room right now because there's just so many things happening. I'm getting a ton of voicemails. So, Oz, if you can just kick people out if they're if it even looks like it's not the right topics, you got to go. We're not talking about Trump. We're not talking about anything but this issue at hand. Victoria, sign it. They said, Victoria, sign it. Grace says, answer my call on WhatsApp. Are you talking to me? Jeez, I just got a new phone. I don't even know if my WhatsApp is set up. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. I got to make sure my WhatsApp is set up. Sure. Carrier changed. Okay, verify. Hold on 1 second. Putting my phone number in here. This is so painful. Sorry, guys. I didn't know I was going to be taking WhatsApp phone calls today. All right, Dave. My name's Dave. Dave on WhatsApp. All right, I am open for phone calls on WhatsApp. It looks like I got a phone call 1 minute ago from the 347 number, so feel free to call on back on WhatsApp if you would like to weigh in with your opinion. I just ask you keep it peaceful, on topic, and we'll keep going. Look, we're talking about Rachel Kirkconnell's apology. So she's apologized. So we're not going to go in and discuss what was right and wrong. We're going to assume whether you were ignorant to those parties or not, that they weren't right. We've already talked about this a ton. We're assuming that isn't right. We're not debating over that. So anyway, I'm free on WhatsApp if you want to call me back. All right, we're getting a phone call. Here we go. Let's see who we're talking to. Just got to make sure that I got my setup here. Hello, who am I speaking with right now?
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, this is Grace. I'm in DR, Dominican Republic.
Hello, Grace from Dominican Republic. How are you, Grace?
I'm good. I've just been watching your videos, and I get some people don't care about what Rachel did or what Chris did, but I don't understand why people are mad at Rachel Lindsay. understand that.
Who's mad at? Are people mad at Rachel Lindsay?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of comments of people, saying, "Oh, Rachel is always trying to start fires everywhere." Exactly like how Serena C called Katie the arsonist, acting like because she calls out people for like accountability, then she's the bad guy and that she should just be quiet.
Yeah, very interesting. I did shut down a few comments on a video earlier. I can't moderate them all, but I did shut down some comments of people saying that Rachel Lindsay needs to shut up and know her place. It's a very easy thing for a low IQ type of person to just tell somebody to shut up and just like, you're only famous from the show X, Y, and Z. Rachel Lindsay has used her platform. She's put a lot of burden on her shoulders, and she doesn't have to do that. But no, I would reject any argument whatsoever that's against Rachel Lindsay in this case. And that's almost like a lost cause. Like, we're trying to help people that want to have a discussion, and I think that's a lost cause. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. But it's just crazy how like those people are coming out in Chris Harrison's comments and when he put the comments on his post, and how everyone is coming out and saying that, and it just doesn't make any sense to me because people have been hating on her for so long. But what has she done wrong? She's not calling out Chris Harrison. She agreed with him multiple times, and it's just a shame because she was the first Black person lead on the show. And it's just so sad that I feel like she's gonna, fall off the show now.
Yeah, I know she had mentioned that she's kind of done with the show and wants to be done. And she's the reason we have Matt James, because she was like, look, you don't just get one Black Bachelorette and then, pat yourself on the back. I think as much of a burden I think this has been on her, and she doesn't owe it to anybody. I think she was the Bachelorette that everybody needed. They needed somebody to just come in and call people out. And with that, you're almost changing the discussion to a point where people that are ignorant to things like this, they reject that. It's like you just can't win with everybody. So I would say this: there's only so much space in everybody's heart that if you're able to tune out those people and only expand the people that are doing good, I think that kind of kicks them to the back of the line, which I know sounds so passive and a cop out, but I really don't see if they can't discern, differentiate between the productive conversation that Rachel Lindsay's having and just thinking she needs to shut up. That's just like, we're not even on the same, speaking the same language at that point.
Yeah, that's just crazy. I'm in the Dominican Republic, and I know about the history. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't stupid. Like, they should focus on what is actually going on, but people are deflecting it about Rachel Lindsay doing this and that.
Hey,
and it's just so ridiculous.
I totally agree. Are you from the Dominican? You're not from there, are you?
I mean, I'm back and forth, but like I'm over here, like I live here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm half American, but
how's it
thought I'd call you on WhatsApp since I saw it in your bio and your description.
Yeah, I appreciate that so much. I'm so bad with technology that international people have been begging me to get a WhatsApp, so I finally did, and I finally figured out how to use it. Well, look, what do you think about the apology itself? What do you think about the merit of the Rachel Kirkconnell's apology?
I mean, I'm glad she apologized. Like, I hope it's kind of almost like a Hannah Brown story where, she actually...
Sorry about that. Sorry, I was...
to educate herself, and hopefully it is. Words are just words until they're actions.
Exactly. Yeah, like she ends in her apology. She says, I hope I can earn your forgiveness through my future actions. So I'm glad she acknowledges that this isn't the be all end all. It's sort of like an important formality for her to move forward. And I think I can only imagine with the contestants that have had lawsuits against them and the contracts and the strong arming of ABC. I can't imagine what they're up against to get this apology out. I just don't know. But better now than never, but really could have used this about a month ago.
Yeah.
But
yeah, definitely.
Well, Grace, thanks so much for calling in. And if there's anything else you want to add to, just call me back. I appreciate you letting me know to get over there on WhatsApp.
All right, thank you.
All right,
and talk to you later.
All right, take care, Grace. All right, that was Grace calling in from the Dominican Republic. Very good. She said, words are only words until there are actions. And I think that's very insightful from you, Grace. I appreciate that. And what Grace, I don't know if you guys could hear everything okay. What Grace is basically saying is that Rachel Lindsay was getting a ton of flack from certain people for just basically doing her job, which is, Rachel was a lawyer. She should be good at prosecuting her case, and she didn't accept the words that Chris was giving. She agreed on certain things, but she didn't accept what Chris was giving to her, and that's important too. You know what I mean? So good on her. She might not be the person that people want, she might not be the people. Let me say this again. She may not be the Bachelorette everybody wants, but maybe she's the one that we needed. And again, we should never expect anyone else to take on these burdens. But with that said, I can't have the conversation with people that think she needs to shut up. We're here to amplify voices. We're here to listen. I will say this. When it comes to the conversation Chris Harrison and Rachel Lindsay has, I understand how hard it is to talk to someone through the internet. I'm just talking to Grace through social media. I'm getting a phone call from Vegas. Let's just answer this. Hi, you're on the air. Oh, hold on one second. Hi, can you hear me?
Press 2.
Jesus Christ. Getting a lot of phone calls here, folks. I don't know how to turn off my ringer. Tasha, my ringer goes off every single time I get a phone call. It's blowing up. My phone's on silent, but every time the Google Voice goes, sorry guys, I got 1,000 people over here, probably annoying the hell out of them. Let me try to see if I can figure this out on Google Voice, because I believe these are people. It must be a setting. Hold on, folks. It'll be worth it for me to get this thing fixed. Incoming calls. All right. Hang tight, folks. Turn off message forwarding and send calls to voicemail. Yeah, send calls to voicemail. Well, let's see if that does it. All right, let's play some more voicemails from you guys. This is from Mississippi.
Hey, Mississippi. Look, that girl is not racist. I am black. I am so tired of people saying people are racist just because you call them out of their, Okay, let me give you an example. I call white people honky and Indian, whatever, but I'm not racist, but I just said, that's honky over there. That nigga over there. I'm not racist, so I don't think she's racist. We just use that name because we grew up with it. You don't necessarily have to be racist. Racist is someone that is hating and just doing really dirty things against us.
Oh, sorry. Call just went out. Hold on one second. Sorry about that.
Race. I think if you just said nonchalant like we do, and that girl ain't racist. It's not a bit. And then she went on the back on that thing. So people need to shut up. I'm so tired. Every time somebody always calls somebody racist. I'm so tired of it. I mean, I can call a person. I ain't gonna say it to your face. Another person that's not my color. I'm not gonna say it to their face. It ain't got to do with race. You just saying it like nigga here. You know how we say that word sometimes. And I had a white friend that they grew up saying it. So it is racist, but I don't think that's racist. They need to shut up. I'm so tired of this. This ain't time. I'm talking about race. Tired of it.
Thank you so much for that call. That was a phone call from Mississippi saying that, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said you don't think what Rachel Kirkconnell did was racist, in that racism is more something that you feel in your heart. So what you're saying is you don't think she had any vitriol behind it. And I appreciate your input. I really do. We're here to take all of your calls. Let's see what we have next.
You're doing a great job. I enjoy your video. I just recently caught on to it. I'm Deborah from Southern California.
Hi, Deborah.
And although Georgia is more hardcore about those things, I'm of the belief that, as I wrote, I'm Queen of Hearts, that you learn what you hear from your family and your parents in the young life.
Amen.
And you don't go into this world just being a racist.
Hold on, folks. Sorry. Technical difficulties.
Something you learn through hearing things and the way you're raised. So given that fact, she might have continued that racist with her parents and maybe inside really didn't feel racist. I'm not sure. And then going on The Bachelor, where there's a black man, maybe she went on for her own reasons. I don't know. We don't know. But nevertheless, with all the systemic racism that's going on, it's not okay that she put Matt in that position or other viewers in that position. Me as a white woman
I'm open to all races, and everybody should be given that same consideration and not be less than anybody else. So, I mean, I raised my daughter to love everybody regardless of what you look like or who you are or what your race is or what your religion is or if you have a disability. We are all beautiful individuals. That's my take.
Very sweet. Thank you so much. Deborah calling from Southern California. We're all individuals, but we're all equal. And she says a lot of racism, she believes, is something that comes from, we're not born with it. We're not born with it. Whether it's our parents, an uncle, somebody we admire. As a child, you look up to somebody and then all of a sudden you see them doing a certain thing and you go, well, I need to do that to fit into this group. It's something that we need to cut. We need to cut out just at its legs for the next generation. We're having these talks, So anyway, Petty said, Petty LaBelle, love your name, by the way, says, loving the diversity on this channel, although she does not speak for all of us, LMFAOOO. And I believe you were referring to the Mississippi caller, not necessarily Deborah, the last caller. But look, that's what it's all about. We're, getting a phone call from Mississippi, getting a phone call from the DR. This is way more productive to me than fighting with strangers online. Let's go here. Next call.
Hey, Dave. I'm such a big follower of you. I really don't watch the show as much as I watch your channel.
Oh, thank you.
I really enjoy it. And I also think that it's not only just important to be held accountable, but also be a little bit more authentic. And I do not believe that Rachel did that with knowing, I only think that she was sorry because she got caught. So we can just talk about that a little bit. That would be really cool.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Love your channel.
Oh, thank you
Have a
so
great
much.
day.
I really appreciate it. So the idea that our latest caller had is that Rachel isn't sorry. She's sorry she got caught. Well, that's kind of one of those things that's hard to argue because we don't know. We can take her statement at face value and understand that maybe if she's still lived in her little bubble that she lived in, maybe she wouldn't have changed. Maybe by getting caught, she did learn something. That does happen. People learn from, from receiving punishment for their actions all the time. Shame's one of those things it's interesting that we look at as a society, but shame can actually guide us into a higher direction in some cases. The biggest fear a lot of people have is to be ostracized from a group, and by even threatening to cancel somebody, like Chris Harrison might not have known what he said was wrong until a petition smacked him in the Botoxed forehead of his. You know what I mean? So I understand the premise that you have, and I respect it, and thank you so much for calling. That saying that she's upset that she got caught, but also maybe, and if that helps her platform of 330,000 people learn from the lesson of her and go, geez, boy, I guess we're not going to plantations, and here's why. That elevates people to the next level. And it's, good things don't always happen for good reasons, I don't know if that made any sense. I don't know if that made any sense. Emily said, that's where Rachel's actions in the future come into play. We won't know for sure if she's truly sorry until we wait and see. Yes, Emily, you're right. And I suppose she's learned her lesson. Again, that's just an optimistic thought of mine. We can look at Hannah Brown as someone similar. Hannah Brown, similar sort of background, similar story, gets sort of outed on Bachelor Nation. Of course, Hannah Brown was singing a song and said the N-word on an Instagram live or what have you. And I can't believe people are still having this debate. Well, they wrote the song. You should be able to sing it. No, we're not doing that, guys. Come on. Kirat K said, Dave, just want to say you're doing the right thing by having these conversations on your platform. Well, thank you so much. I mean, like I said before, I don't know what other conversation we can have at this point. This is very important for us. So I wanted to, Oz, I saw that you sent me something and I don't know where it went. I'm having a hard time here keeping up with everything. Oz, can you text me your PayPal? I just want to make sure that if anyone's going to forward along any donations, we get it to our moderator. I know you're hard at work over there. Let me know. This is so much easier to do when I've got a couple extra hands here. But Oz, could you type it? Could you type your PayPal in the comment section, and then I'll try to see it from there. I thought you sent it to me, but I just am getting drained with messages. Hold on, maybe it's in my other inbox. Oh, here it is. I got it. Your PayPal is Let me make sure I pull it up here. Oh, good. This is what I'll do. I'm going to put this, I'm going to airdrop this to my computer. And then, again, I'm going to leave this up if anyone wants to send Oz a donation. He's our moderator. He lives in Canada, and he does a lot of good work. So just if you have any thoughts about forwarding along any love, Oz is your guy. He's keeping the comment section safe. There's his music. So there it is for you guys, okay? Let me find a way to put this in a text. Sorry, I much prefer to do this. Hang with me, folks. I much prefer to do this beforehand, but I want to make sure I get this out. So let's go here. I do a text, and then it's, hold on one second, folks. I know this is going to look a little sloppy here, but we're live. We're doing it live. Add a new source. Let's call this Oz PayPal. And if anyone wants to give him some a little tip jar, by all means. And we're going to go paypal.me/OZHAVUSHA. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there. You can use this time to make a phone call the voicemail, and let's see if this pops up. Oh, there it is. So hold on a second. Jesus Christ. Let me delete that, and then I got this. Let's do it. Let's pull it down here. Boy, that's a small. There it is. There we go. All right, so there's Oz. Oh, there we go. PayPal, that's Oz. Send him a PayPal if you want to send any donations into the channel. He helps me keep this thing going, and we move on. All right. No Venmo in Canada. What are you doing? You got to get Venmo. You don't need Venmo. You have you get free health insurance. Here in the United States, if we have a problem, we got to start a GoFundMe account when we break an ankle. USA. All right, I digress. So a lot of stuff's going on Instagram. Let me know if there are any Instagrams from Bachelor Nation that I should post. Abby said, let's talk about shame for a second. Abby said, shame is a motivator. When I was 4, I accidentally shoplifted a banana. My mom walked my ass back to the store and made me apologize and give it back. Never did that again. Just a thought. That's so funny. You stole a banana. Is that a banana in your pocket? Actually, it is. I was stealing it. Boy, nothing like getting that potassium. That's the whitest theft I've ever heard. Stealing a banana. Yeah, absolutely. I remember once I did a belly flop at the public pool when I was with my aunt, and you weren't allowed to dive into the pool, but I thought I'd be cool and do it. And my aunt made me walk up to the lifeguard and apologize. I was mortified. I don't know if I'd call that shame. So this is interesting. The women of Bachelor Season 25 had posted this statement here. So this is very interesting. And so this is from 25 women. But so this isn't how. So again, which of the ladies are excluded from this? I guess would be the better question to ask. Turn this down. I'm gonna figure out how to turn this off. I apologize, guys. I don't think I'm gonna learn this right now. Let's go through all this. Let me get to the other. So we've already read all this. Don't mind me. There's Rachel's apology. All right, so there's nothing new to report over there from BachelorNation.scoop, but we'll keep in touch with them and see what they have to say. Yeah, shame is a good motivator, And again, we don't want to shame people for things we shouldn't. Like, you shouldn't fat shame somebody. But on the same token, I look in the mirror and I'll fat shame myself when I'm like, bro, you got to eat less, Bambino, Trader Joe's frozen pizzas. I use shame as a motivator all the time when I'm running up the hill. I'm like, you 35-year-old bastard, you get up that hill, you old. You know what I mean? But again, I choose to do that, and it's about kind of like a healthy lifestyle there. So anyway, this is interesting. Let's read a few comments from people that aren't. This is from a different page. So this isn't from. Hold on, let me make this bigger. This isn't from the Bachelor Nation page. Gosh, I really need to work on the formatting here. Hang on with me, folks. Mrs. Mihaiko said, I think only the ladies of color put out that statement. I'm just surprised there was 25 ladies of color on the show. I mean, then again, how many? Usually there's only 25 total contestants, but I guess this year they had, 50? B Bean says, I think Rachel Kirkconnell, I think I'm still messing it up, will rehab herself. Yeah, I think so too. All right, Macy just called. Let's get to some of these voicemails. You guys are being troopers calling in. I'm getting a ton of voicemails. So if anyone wants to donate, as I said, to Oz, he's my guy. Even if it's a few bucks so that he can get Uber Eats, while we're in the pandemic, that would be amazing if someone wanted to send him some Uber Eats because he's sitting by the computer and helping us out. So that's there at the bottom. All right, let's play a few more voicemails. Thank you guys for hanging in. A couple technical difficulties, but if you guys know my channel, we've come a long way, as far as technical difficulties go in the last couple months.
Hey, Dave.
Oh.
I'm watching.
All right, we had a hang up there. All right, let's see if we can get that one again. It looks like someone was about to say something and then hung up on us. Hey, that's fine. Hey, no judgment. Next phone call, Kate from Chicago.
Hello, my name is Kate. I'm calling from Chicago. I just got on your live right now, and I saw how you said that maybe Rachel Lindsay isn't the Bachelorette that people wanted but needed. But it aggravates me because.
Jeez. Sorry, I'm getting upset. I don't know how to turn off all these other phone calls, but let me go back to your call. Sorry about that.
I feel like Rachel is the Bachelorette that people should want. And if somebody doesn't want that, I feel like that says more about them than it does her.
Absolutely.
Like if you are against somebody who speaks out against issues that you're too afraid to talk about and you feel like they shouldn't be, then that's messed up. I feel like we need to have more Bachelorettes that are like that. And I hope that Katie can be like that. And that, we don't go with the standard of, and I mean, not, the stereotype, but Southern Christian white people who, don't know what's going on and make bad decisions for audiences. We need to have people who can educate others and the public and not have that seen as like a bad thing. And the fact that people are mad about that and give Rachel shit for it, that's so fucked up. Because she's, as you said, doing exactly what she should be doing. So that's messed up. And if anyone's against Rachel, I think they need to check themselves, but also opinions are opinions. But yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was Kate from Chicago. It seems like a lot of people in the comment section agree with you. And look, I understand. Here's the deal. You're going to get a small percentage of people, squeaky wheel gets the grease. You're going to get people that dissent from like the common opinion of what's right. And you notice those more. You notice when you get you notice the bug bite. Okay, so those people are the bug bites. So we notice them, but I think at some point we have to see what's worth our bandwidth, what's a lost cause versus people we can talk to. There's a ton of people watching this story ready to listen, ready to be like, oh, plantation balls are bad. Oh, and it might sound crazy to you, but there's plenty of people that don't pick up on things right away. And I'm not here to apologize for them, but I'm saying those are the people we flip, not the people that go, no, Rachel Lindsay, she needs to shut up. I do a Southern accent. I apologize. That's my go-to is my bad Southern accent. But you understand that while Grace called in from the Dominican Republic saying that it frustrates her, I understand your frustration. And my thought behind it, my point behind it is that while those people will exist, I think there's people we can save. So if we can look past the people that don't want a life raft, we'll go and just throw that into the direction of someone who's asking for it. I don't know. I'm pretty bad at metaphors. I don't know. Let's go to the next one. You guys are fantastic. Here's Jessica.
Jessica?
Oh, wait, hold on. That wasn't right. Jessica calls back in a second. It looks like we had a technical problem there.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm calling from Massachusetts.
What up,
I just
Sarah?
want to give my perspective because when I first went to college, I moved down to Florida, and there were a lot of people from all over the country, and I had a girl who lived across the hall from me, and she was from North Carolina, and she would just fly the N-word just like it was nothing, hard R, and use a lot of racial slurs. When I asked her about it, she was just like, oh, it's how I was raised, and it kind of hit me being from New England, where overall people aren't really racist. People from the South are, in general, they can be like pretty overwhelmingly racist, like wave their Confederate flags everywhere. So for me personally, after experiencing that, it wasn't a huge surprise to me to find out that she did have a racist background. But also, I do think that, I mean, people are saying that, I guess, her liking pictures or whatever isn't coming from bad intentions, and she isn't technically, or she might not be racist, like, down to her core. But I also think that what we put out on social media, I mean, most people probably wouldn't put out any racist ideology on social media. So I think that alone is pretty telling, and I'm not Black, so I can't accept her apology, but yeah, this was my standpoint. I would like to hear more about how she has educated herself or changed since then.
Dude, Sarah from Massachusetts calling it. Sarah, thank you so much for the phone call. Here's where I'll push back. Racism exists all over. It might be more apparent when you see the Confederate flag on someone's front, raised on the front of someone's house. But I'm from Rhode Island. We know Boston has a bad stigma for racism in the past. We know this. This is true. You know, the North in a lot of ways is as guilty as the South when it comes to slave trade. I mean, I'm from Rhode Island. Our name was Rhode Island and Providence Plantations until this year. It was just changed. You know, so like I don't even know which plantations they're talking about there, but the fact that they just changed it, they couldn't have made this decision 20 years ago. They sure tried. It got voted down every time. Thank you so much, Jessica, for the chat. I appreciate it. Everyone who's new, we've got Oz's PayPal right there in the front left corner. Sorry, my green screen cuts off, but there it is. That's Oz's PayPal. If anyone wants to donate to Oz, he's moderating. I really would appreciate that. Send your donations his way. Anyway, whatever we get, we'll shuffle it over to Oz anyway. So if you do send a super chat, we're just going to shuffle it right over for this chat. I appreciate what you're doing over there, Oz. Yeah, Laura Edmondson said last Confederate flag I saw was in New Hampshire. So look, again, I know what you're trying to say, that there's some like overt racism you notice in Florida. Florida's a wild state. You got Victoria Larson stealing makeup from a Publix. You got no masks in sight. Someone has said in the comment, because I had said, well, Florida, and look, I can push back on Florida. It's a big state, so it's not all bad. But of course, someone said the coasts are okay. When you go 8 miles in from the coast, that's where it gets hairy. And Florida man, you could every day there's 15 Florida stories about people biting each other's faces off. So anyway, yeah, I will push back and say that racism does exist. Ignorance, bigotry, homophobia, they exist in small town America. They exist in cities too, but I will say that having lived in Boston, New York, Los Angeles, spent time in other major cities, even in the Midwest, there is like a safe haven in a lot of cities for people to bump elbows with people of different ethnicities, sexual preferences, things like that. You don't just see a trans person necessarily walking down the road in some small town in Iowa. Maybe, but probably not. But if you're in Chelsea, in Manhattan, that's more normalized. You can see a gay couple walking their kid to school and go, oh, that's a loving couple. You don't look at it in any sort of way. So, when you just live on your cul-de-sac and don't experience a diversity of any types, it doesn't come to your attention necessarily. That is the definition of ignorance. All right, let's keep on going here. Got a couple more calls. Actually, we got a lot of calls coming in, so let's take these.
Hi, I'm Jessica from Las Vegas. I really do love watching your channel.
Thank you.
I did leave a voicemail before. I would really love to have the conversation that everyone is kind of concerned about. I'll try and call you again, honestly. Oh, sorry. I didn't know that wasn't your full call. Sorry about that. Yeah, just keep calling and keep trying it. Look, it's hard. Here's the deal. This is a great example of how challenging it is to have the conversation, because unlike a text message where you can like delete what I was going to say and re-say it, I respect that you want to get your words right before you say them. So imagine me on camera not wanting to mess up, but when it comes to it, when you sort of establish an opinion on something, then it becomes okay to keep talking about. That's like when I was talking about the black, it's called the Black Bachelorette. It's very hard to say. Very catchy, but very hard to say. The Black Bachelorette. She made this 8-minute video that was so well spoken.
Let me pull it up here so you guys can go follow her. I mean, they've already gotten just so many follows. The black, no A in that, Bachelorettes. Let's see. There it is. They've gotten like, 400,000 views on this video. Look at it. It's up to 500,000. She's so well spoken. And the reason is, I mean, she's a performer, but the reason she's so well spoken is because she's had this conversation probably over and over with family members, with friends, with allies, with people that, say, well, like all lives matter. And she has to go, hold on a second. So because of that, she's able to have such a nuanced conversation. I'll play the first minute of it, but you guys are going to have to go over there and watch it for yourself. But here's the first minute of how eloquent she was. Oh, hold on. I don't have audio here. Hold on. Oh, I turned down the wrong one. Hold on 1 second, folks. Running the soundboard here. Let's just turn that completely off so we can hear what she has to say. 500,000 views today.
So is somebody gonna come get this white man together, or I gotta do it? Oh, you know what? That's all. I got time today. So Chris Harrison said that in 2018, we did not yet possess the lens through which we can see America here in 2021. All right, and this on how we owe grace and forgiveness to Rachel Kirkconnell. Let me tell you about why that is just a mess, okay?
I'm not going to play the full video. I'm not going to play any more of it because I want you guys to go over to Instagram and support her channel. I don't want to be ripping off her video through my channel, but everybody that's commented on this goes, the word efficiency, the illustration, the poetic in an intonation sense. I mean, she really comes off amazing. So for anyone, I mean, those are the videos you want to push to the top because it's worth people seeing. Some people have said, look, someone has said, it's not as much as a core issue in Canada that I know of. And I don't think Canadians would stand for that. I hope anyway. And look, I might have jumped into the conversation and don't know exactly what you're talking about here, but I've had Indigenous people in Canada say, look, we've whitewashed our history. So the problem doesn't exist here, not because we never had the problem, but because, we just kind of washed over it. Whereas in the U.S., and again, that might not be true, but that's just what's been told to me. In the U.S., we've got an issue that's still surfacing because there's been decades and generations of trying to while slavery was eradicated, the prison systems are just built against the black community where everything, even in the New York City, the great New York City, stop and frisk, targeting minorities. So the idea that we've burned it off. Well, everyone's got equal rights now. Equal rights is the baseline for where we want to be. The baseline. Now it's how we act on those rights. Now a lot of great things have been happening. After the 2016 election, there were more, I think, black women became judges in the South. Obviously, Georgia, Stacey Abrams really, really pushed the black vote to get out there. And it's just been amazing what the voice is amplified when people feel like they actually have a voice in the matter. But, we're just not there. Because, there's a whole, we could go down the history of socioeconomic issues of why, voter suppression happens, or they decide, you can't afford to vote because you'd have to travel 30 miles out of the city because we closed down the urban voting centers. And there's just always been something stacked against people to receive this progress until recently with social media, we have this gift. So as bad as it is for people to have to deal with and respond to and being forced to take a side, although there should be no side to take, what we realize is there's this collective thought is only beginning to push ourselves into the right direction. The propaganda of living in the good old South and the Confederate flag doesn't represent slavery and this and that, it's just got to go. It just has to go. And that's going to come with education and overcoming our ignorance. Play a couple more voicemails. They keep coming in here. It's Kay from Canada.
Hi, Dave. This is Kay from Canada.
Hi, Kay.
I am a female, of course. You can tell by my voice. Muslim who also is East African, and I live in Canada, of course. And I do watch the show. I've been watching The Bachelor since I think I got hooked ever since Joso Fletcher's season. And with everything that's been going on with Rachel, and first of all, I love your channel. I think it's amazing. I think you're somebody that is open-minded, but not only that, you speak on a lot of different issues, and you just like to expand your knowledge. And I love that you're learning about different things and different cultures, and you have learned enough already to have different views and different perspectives, and that's something I appreciate watching this channel. And also, I honestly speaking, with all the things that I have going on in sorry about my rambling, that's for the longest time.
I'm losing you. I don't know what you're saying. Bad connection.
It's very to see what's interesting by people is he was gossiping people about.
I'm so sorry, the connection.
That point. I personally agree with values, funded values that everybody on the
Kay, I lost your connection there at the end. I got the first half. Kay's a Muslim from East Africa and now lives in Canada. And you've been watching The Bachelor for a long time, and I appreciate the nice words you said. Unfortunately, I got to get a better voicemail system. The Google voicemails don't always go through, but unfortunately that didn't go through at the end there. I wasn't trying to cut you off. I really appreciate your phone call. Send me a text of what I missed in the comment section there so I can, so I can play that out for you. Kids do not tolerate racism. At the same time, I'm sure there are some racist kids who don't speak up. Lucy said that, just to let you know, in my town, racism is definitely uncool. The kids don't tolerate it. I mean, that's amazing. That really is. And some people said, well, my parents must have raised me right because I was always told that this is wrong. And unfortunately, and while that's a great example to set, and we should really appreciate that baseline, unfortunately, there's people, that have grown up poor, white, and they've been taught that the minority people are what are keeping them back. You know what I mean? And that's something that they learn from their parents, from their uncles, from their friends. And that's a lot to untangle for the rest of us. This idea that I'd be better off. And then because you build this misguided resentment and all this, And that's not everyone's story. I mean, I can only imagine racism can take root in so many different ways. Alcoholic family, just a hateful, low energy. There's just a million. And this isn't making excuses for it, but it doesn't fall out of the sky is the point. It doesn't just fall out of the sky. A couple more calls here.
Hi, I love your channel so much.
Thank you.
My name is Macy. I'm from Arizona. I think that being a part of sorority culture and fraternity culture, as a college student, it's so ridiculous how much racism there is. And I really I think that Rachel was right in what she said and what she, her letter said. But as a whole, I don't think she should be totally held accountable because it's you're thrown into that. And then it's so ritualistic that in the ways that you have to follow everything. So honestly, I give her a huge pass also just because she's a young person. But again, if that component wasn't a part of it and racist stuff came up, then I think it would be an issue. But yeah, okay, thanks.
Macy from Arizona. Very good angle and good point. Macy what was talking about sorority culture and how there's a lot of racist traditions. So when it comes to racism, it's something that's passed on generationally from your parents, from your friends' parents, from your coaches. It's just something that's passed on culturally, right? I think we can agree on that. Like I said, it can come from different places. And again, this isn't my place to mansplain what it is. This is just us untangling it from the lens that we have. So please feel free to leave a comment, disagree, let me know. Educate us, folks, if you would like to. With your consent. But she said, a lot of sororities and fraternities were developed in the 1920s, 30s. I was in Lambda Chi Alpha. I'm sure if you Google Lambda Chi Alpha, you can find racist traditions, or my traditions really from my fraternity. It's been so long, 15 years. I'm old, folks. Kenny Chesney was at East Tennessee State University in Lambda Chi Alpha. We had some presidents that were in Lambda Chi Alpha. Chris Harrison was in a fraternity. I'm gonna have to look more into all of this because Chris Harrison was in a fraternity, and I know when they look into that fraternity, they'll find that they were fined for there's be flagged for racist issues in the past. I mean, it's something that you can dig into any of these societies. You can look at rugby teams. They have horrifying chants that they do, and they do them all over the world, Rugby is an international sport, and they love doing their chants. They sing those old songs. They're brutal, guys. You know what I mean? So it's found all over. It doesn't make it right. But when you do look into things like Greek life, which we're talking about sororities and fraternities, there is such a culture of compliance. Oh, what are we doing? Oh, we're doing what is it called? CEOs and secretary hoes. Okay, cool. Well, that's not racist. That's for sure a sexist. And they would do these theme parties. And in the South, it's all old formal, the old plantation Southern ball, whatever it's called. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, should we just dust off the old shirt, go over there and crank? It doesn't make it right, guys. It's not about justifying it. It's just about looking at it. So thank you so much for that phone call. Olivia from Colorado's calling in. Let's hear what she has to say.
Dave, this is Olivia. I'm from Colorado. First, I just want to say congratulations on your channel growth.
Thank you.
I think a lot of people defending Chris are saying, well, his message wasn't technically from a bad place. So I just want to make this clear. I'm white. I think the issue that a lot of people have is that his message was so full of microaggressions, and he used right-wing terms that were created to invalidate calls for social equality and to invalidate people of color's voices and women's voices and gay voices and stuff, such as woke police and things like that. And at the end of the day, it's just so weird that, of course, he's coming on the defense of a white woman. Like, okay, but yeah.
Thank you so much. Olivia from Colorado saying that the problem with Chris Harrison is the microaggressions. And look, these are good conversations to have. He said the woke police. He said it a bunch of times. Drink every time Chris Harrison says woke police. It's like, okay, like we're not, by labeling things as the woke police, you're almost negating the actual criticism of what it is. So a lot of people have mentioned the difference between cancel culture versus accountability. Now, I personally don't think Chris Harrison should be fired. You're able to have your own opinions. I want to hear him speak a lot more about it, but I understand that the terminology he was using is charged. Words have meaning. So I totally understand that. And I know you called in because you're referring to some things in the comment section, and all I can say is I'm barely reading the comment section right now because I'm high processing power right now trying to get through these voicemails. But yeah, I understand. It's like I've got family and I'm that I want to see. Shout out to my brother Jameson. It's his birthday today. Love you, buddy. I know you're not watching, but shout out to you. My brother Jameson in Rhode Island celebrating his birthday. And look, there's family I want to see, and I've been like, I just can't visit you. The vaccine's not rolled out yet. Blah blah blah. And then I have family that go, don't live in fear. And it's like, look, it ain't fear. It's being responsible. It's being accountable. And while living in fear is different than woke police, it's the same like right-wing talking point. Like, oh, wearing a mask, you're just living in fear. And it's like, I understand how frustrating it is because you're totally whittling down what I'm trying to do here. You know what I mean? So thank you so much for that phone call. I don't know if I completely made sense, but I hope you understand. Thank you.
Hi, my name's CJ, and I am calling from the South.
Hi, CJ.
After living in the state of Georgia, where Rachel's from.
Georgia.
But originally I grew up in the Midwest. I lived in one of the top 5 places in the United States to live and grow up. And firsthand, I just want to say, growing up in the suburbs, as a Black person, I can tell you right now that Rachel was very, very ignorant and was very oblivious to things that were going on for Black people and people of color. That's one of the reasons why I left and moved to a more affluent city, suburban area. And right now I live in Atlanta. But growing up in the suburbs, I saw a lot of my white friends. They would say things and they wouldn't even think about it being racist. They weren't taught that. their parents would say things in front of me about my skin color or just different things of that nature. So I do want to look at Rachel and see what she's going to do going forward. This is a lesson learned, but it is a taught lesson. When you think about her parents, their voter history that came up, and Republican, Democrat, that doesn't matter to me, but the fact that her father was donating to these propaganda organizations about Trump, that's a little startling to me because a lot of those things were fake news. But of course, parents can have different beliefs in their children, but one of the things is that she did grow up in an environment where she heard things of that nature that her parents were talking about that probably had to do with Black people and a lot of people of color. So when she went out into the world and went to college, she was surrounded by like-minded individuals, and they were very oblivious. And I can tell you right now, just looking at the whole antebellum situation that went on, the fact that she was in a sorority that had ties to a fraternity that was one of the founding members of the KKK, that is very startling to me. And if I was Matt James, of course he is a biracial man, he is Black and he is white, I would be taken aback. Also, the fact that Rachel came out and said that she is racist and she's trying to be anti-racist, that's something that I would be taken aback to as well, because all the things that she's saying are a lot of things that Bachelor Nation was saying, not just Black people, but white people, Asian people. We looked at Rachel's past and no, we weren't judging her, but we knew right away that she had a lot of problematic tendencies, and it's hard to unlearn them. What I'd like to see going forward is change in action, definitely. Something that's kind of like a parallel to this situation is the whole Varsity City Blues.
Oh, your phone call cut off at 3 minutes. I think you were only allowed to leave a 3-minute phone call. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know if you kept on going or if you call back, but thank you so much for that voicemail. I just want you to know I didn't X that out. It just stopped at 2 minutes and 59 seconds. You left Georgia for affluent suburbs because you were sick of certain ignorance growing up Black. You think that this issue with Rachel Kirkconnell is a lesson learned and a taught lesson, and you see the problematic tendencies in her past, and you want to see her change in action. Thank you so much for that phone call. It's so nice to hear from, obviously, diverse people, but also from the South, because I'm a bloke from Rhode Island. I visited the South. I had some family in the suburbs in Atlanta, but, you really have to live in certain places to really understand the tone and the character of where that is. So I can't speak towards a lot of that, but I really appreciate you sharing with me your opinion. I'm going to get out of here soon, folks. I have a couple more phone calls. Please, if you're going to leave a phone call, this is your last chance. I'm going to turn off the number here. Sorry, where's the phone number here? I'm just going to turn it off because I want to make sure I get to everybody. It looks like I got 4 more, so I'm going to play these 4 more. But if you do need a call, make it quick. Call in right now. Let's get into this. Oh, Susan's calling from Seattle.
Oh, hey, Dave. Hi, everybody.
Hey,
this
Susan.
is Susan from Seattle. I am preparing for a big snowstorm, so I'm going back and forth listening while I work. But I want to chime in as maybe one of your older listeners or followers.
Young at heart, Susan.
To encourage those of you who are feeling frustrated and anxious that things aren't moving fast enough. I just want to let you know that in the course of many decades, things have really, really hit momentum. And the reason I say that is keep sharing your stories. Keep speaking out, because you're opening eyes, you're opening hearts. But just be patient. Some of us take a little bit longer, but be patient with us, and you're making a difference. So thank you, and thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Susan from Seattle. Always good to hear from you, Susan. Your opinions are so valued. And Susan says she's one of the more mature viewers of the live stream and of Bachelor Nation, and says Susan has great advice. She says, we're listening. It takes time. So keep on with your messages. She says that to all of us. Keep on with your messages. And I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that, Susan. Always a pleasure.
Hey, Dave. Jessica from Vegas. I really just enjoy your podcast. I do get at a loss for words sometimes, but there
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was getting a phone call.
Different ways that everyone can learn from what you are sharing, because we are going through a really hard time. And I just want everyone to love each other no matter what. I wish that it could be that easy, but if everyone can just hold tight and stop all the shenanigans, then everyone's going to be okay. So I hope you have a great night, and thank you again for doing your podcast, because I really enjoy it.
Thank you so much for that. I love you had the hippie message of the night. Come on, man, everyone's gonna be okay. Hug everybody, love everybody, and I'm with you on that. Now, of course, that is not always the way that leads to change. When somebody's killed in plain sight by a cop, or there's certain issues of systemic racism, that doesn't always happen right away. Sometimes you need to break some shit. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. But at the same time, with instances like this, if given the chance and someone's reaching out, or you can reach out to somebody, reach out to people, have conversations, and just share love. Absolutely. Vanessa, everybody.
Dave, Vanessa here. First off, I want to say I went to law school in Rhode Island.
Nice.
So
Roger Williams?
Rhode Island has a really fun place in my heart. So one thing that,
By the way, she said, Rhode Island has a really fun place in my heart. Somebody had fun in college. Hey, I'm just kidding. Thank you, Vanessa.
We've skirted over is the issue of the original breakout of Rachel Lindsay bullying her friends, or with her friends bullying her other friend about liking a black guy. It seems like after this antebellum plantation photo sorority themed party formal went out, that the conversation focused on that. And I would have loved to hear, and hopefully we'll hear some more on this from Rachel in the coming days, but I would like to hear her story, her side around the truth behind that, if at all. And and also I see Chris Harrison's point of moving with grace. I feel that I really feel for Rachel here, because she's almost like stuck in between a rock and a hard place. And it's so easy to judge. We're so quick to judge and to attack, and it's so important for us as a collective to really take a step back, process, think, and then respond. But we're all so quick to react to what's happening in front of us, and we don't offer much grace to anybody these days. So yeah, I think that there's more that we're gonna get to hear from Rachel. My heart does go out to her, and I would have loved to have seen a little bit more meat and more juice in that apology statement.
Speaking of juice, I need to go cook some dinner. I got to get out of here. A couple more voicemails I want to play, but you're absolutely right that we need more grace. And that doesn't mean grace like in as opposed, there still needs to be listening. There still needs to be accountability, of course. But grace in our everyday life, how we treat people in the comment section, how we treat our baristas at Starbucks, how we treat people that are below us that can't offer us anything. Grace across the board. We can all practice it more. I say this not as somebody who has the answers, but as someone who has to remind myself to have grace all the time. Jessica, who called a few minutes ago, commented, haha, total hippie over here, also fighting COVID, but I'll break anything you want. Thank you, Dave. Jessica, please break the like button by hitting it gently. Bump that Harrison onto that like button. And I'm so sorry you're battling COVID. You sounded great in the voicemail. Couple more calls here.
Hi, I'm Alyssa. I'm from Utah in the United States. I just wanted to share my perspective on everything that's going on with Rachel Kirkconnell and Chris Harrison. So I do want to say that both Rachel and Chris made acceptable apologies. Now, I do need to say that as white people who were not directly of these, they are not our apologies to accept.
Right.
However, we can acknowledge that they are decent apologies.
Correct.
I do want to say that both Chris and Rachel should have gone into greater detail, specific missteps they have made and why those were missteps. Rachel should have said it was wrong to go to this formal because it perpetuates a glamorization of safety. And Chris should have said that me speaking over Rachel Lindsay on issues of is perpetuating an idea that a white man's definition of what is racist or not is better than a. And I also want to say that while I don't think that Chris should be fired from hosting The Bachelor, I think, you know, he did continual missteps that are wrong, and I think that he represents something in the community that is he represents white supremacy in the Bachelor franchise, and he's done that with many statements in the past, not with his reasons, but unfortunately they're just like not a fireable offense, and we're going to have that culture backlash if he was fired for what he said, even though it makes the uncomfortable for Black people. It'd be great as if Chris resigned and opened ties up to a better situation if, you know, Black contestants could trust.
Oh, so your phone call also got cut off at 2 minutes and 59 seconds. I'm so sorry. I had no idea that the Google voicemail cut off at 2:59. So unfortunately, you were onto some good points there. You said you want to explain what's wrong, knowing what they did wrong, and go into the meat and potatoes of that, and just go down the line. Yeah, I agree. A line item of what's wrong, why it's wrong, because the devil's in the details and is important. But I do think this was a good first statement. I think it was something long overdue and very anxious to get the statement out. I also think this statement was pre-approved by Bachelor, so they did have to negotiate what statement to make, which is just insane. Two more. I got my final two voicemails. No one else call in. Please, we'll have to get to these later because I do have to go. Final two voicemails. I will be.
Hi, Dave. It's Brianna. Just so everyone knows, this is my perspective as a white woman, but I was looking up more about fraternities, and actually, it seems that a majority of fraternities have actually said that antebellum parties are not in code. Like, you can't do that. So there is this awareness. I was looking at a website called, quite seriously, Total Frat Move.
Yeah.
Where they made a post about this in 2015 about how they, which is a very conservative site, condemn it. So yes, there is racism in fraternities, and that's totally, that's real, and it is an environment thing, but also that's an environment she did choose to be a part of, and there were clues that that was not appropriate. So yes and no, she still chose to be a part of it. But at the same time, I am looking through Rachel's things on social media, and there is a collection of posts that she made a while back ago, about 36 weeks ago, a lot about Black Lives Matter. There wasn't a bunch, but it did seem, and this was way before she got into the show, so it does seem like there is a level of genuineness to it. And
Right.
I think, I'm not the one to accept her forgiveness, because it's not affecting me. Her racism doesn't affect me, and that is my privilege. But I think I would want to hear from her. I want to hear her voice. A lot of things can be easily said, but tone and a real expression of empathy and compassion and remorse and guilt and shame and all these things. And shame is really important and can change people. And I do want to hear the emotional aspect of this on her, because it does sound like she ends up with that. So I'm so happy you're doing this. I loved the whole thing. You're awesome. I hope you have a great day. Okay, bye.
Brianna, thank you so much for that nice comment and the nice voicemail. I'm going to play I think what is the final voicemail after this. Just so you guys know, for everyone in the comment section, I can't possibly address everybody. It seems like the conversations are, at the very least, compassionate, I would hope. The 5 words that Brianna used at the end of her voicemail: tone, empathy, compassion, remorse, and shame. And I know you just whipped those out, so power to you for whipping those out. You're right. We do want to hear Rachel Kirkconnell's... I've said it different every time. Tasha, I'm almost done. I'm one more voicemail. I just want to give these people... Tasha's not looking at me like, I'm sure she's happy, but I just wanted you to know that these voicemails have been insanely informative and, yeah, very delicate. From everything from... diverse people from Mississippi to Virginia to Georgia to our friend Susan in Washington, Brianna, our friends Melissa in Utah, everybody, thank you all so much for these calls. It's not always about getting it right away, but it's about formulating this sort of thesis that we're going to go forward with. So if you don't have all the answers, if you don't have it right, if you call and get nervous and hang up, that's okay, guys. That's okay. If you're just watching this, like the 700 people or 800 that we had on earlier, if you're just watching this and absorbing it, that's okay too right now. If you don't think the apology was enough, that's okay. It's all okay. But the idea that you want Rachel Kirkconnell to say something out loud, you want to use your 5 senses to understand where she's coming from, to feel what she means, to see where her eyes go and how genuine she is. And I understand that. I truly do believe, knowing what we know from what Reality Steve has posted and the reporting from The Sun, that ABC and The Bachelor wouldn't let her say this. And eventually, it just had to come out. Now, I estimated this was around 350 words. I just, counted 20 words per line, 20 lines out of 350 words, maybe it's 300. But they wanted her to make a 100-word statement. They rejected her initial statement because it didn't mention Matt James. She doesn't mention Matt James here, but you have to imagine some heads were being, put on stakes over there so they could figure this out, because this is wrong that it took so long. It's wrong that it forced the country and people to take sides and say, well, let's have grace. Let's wait for this. Let's wait for that. Let's talk. And again, I've said this in 5 videos today. What Bachelor producers need to do, if you're going to have a show where you say, oh, so-and-so might be a sex worker, so-and-so might have this, so-and-so's got problematic past, oh, Lee was posted racist tweets, oh, let's wait till the men tell all ceremony. You're profiting off of the dysfunctional past in the current state of our country. It's just like media companies that are just going to wedge themselves into issues that are very delicate. We need to find a new way to monetize these sort of platforms, because all it is people just trying to sell their click ads to whichever side of the argument they're on. So Fox News, so CNN, so everyone, it's more nuanced than how they're explaining it to be. And with Chris Harrison and Bachelor Nation, what's happening is they wanted to hold on to this story till after the final rose. They wanted to hold on to it so when they can just do it on their time. Well, that's not how wildfires happen. You don't get just to say, oh, I want to hose it down when it comes up to my front yard. No, we need to nip this when it surfaces on every occasion. It's whack-a-mole. You just got to hit it down, make your statement, learn from it, try to move on. And while it might seem exhausting that it's like, oh, well, 2018, we didn't know better. Well, we can't decide where the ignorance pops up. When we see things from our eyes, our lens, we know when something's bad when we see it. How did you not know a plantation party was bad? Well, I can guarantee people weren't saying, well, let me go out there and get the internet outraged. I'm not making apologies from people. I'm saying accepting an apology, and again, this isn't mine to accept, but when someone apologizes, that's the starting part. We look forward to what happens next from there. I have one final voicemail. And again, thank you guys so much. Final voicemail here. Dre from Texas.
Hi, Dave. This is Dre from Texas. So I grew up in Virginia, but I moved to Texas when I was a teenager. And in 2018, I was just getting out of college, and not defending her or anything, but I was around people like her in college. I was friends with people in sororities and fraternities, and I was friends with some of these people, and I've seen the microaggressions that do happen and that they are just unaware of. One time, my friend wore a Pocahontas costume to a Halloween party, and I told her, I was like, that's probably racially insensitive. You probably shouldn't do that. And her comeback was, well, I have some Native American ancestry. By the way, I forgot to mention that I am Black, so that helps explain this story just a little bit more. And so I do get the ignorance point, and I do appreciate that she did point that out in her statement, because it is a place coming from a place of ignorance. I experienced those little comments, and even some of the type of parties I saw them, and they were, of course, not technically allowed, but they did happen. And in Texas, it's just something that you get used to being a minority, especially a Black minority. You just get used to seeing people like Rachael on an everyday basis, and that doesn't make it right. But I think people do need to realize that not everywhere is the same. Like when I was in Virginia, it was completely different. Things like that didn't happen. It was more culturally diverse. It was even more economically diverse. That's also a big thing, because here in the South, in the suburbs, it's more affluent families than, say, where I grew up in Virginia, where it was more lower and middle class families who kind of had some of the same similar struggles. And so, they didn't really have kind of that thinking of, it doesn't matter, I'm better. Not saying that she thought she, was better or anything, but the thinking is just really different. The way of life is just really different. And so I think people do need to give her the benefit of the doubt. I do personally think they should have looked into her past a little bit more before she was let on the show. But that's just my thoughts. So thank you.
That was a perfect way to end tonight's chat. Dre from Texas, thank you so much. You sound so kind. You talked about a friend who, wore a Pocahontas costume, and you had mentioned, hey, this is why this might be problematic. You've mentioned so many great examples of sort of how by living in certain parts of Texas, you've experienced things that have become normalized. So not only do you, because it's not, the burden is not on you to every time you see something that goes against a lot of basic equality and in rights, human rights. It's not up to you to correct it all the time. And I can only imagine how exhausting that might be. With all that said, I appreciate you sharing your story, and to everyone else who shared your story as well. This is obviously going to be a breaking story where we're going to hear a lot from Bachelor Nation. We're going to hear a lot of people talking about this. I just ask everyone to be as understanding as possible to hearing other people's opinions, and I don't mean that in any way like we should be sympathetic or accept an apology when it's not meant. Everyone can react how they need to react, and like our friend said earlier, let's just try to embrace people with empathy, compassion, and understand that what happens now from these sorts of apologies is what we have to judge. And some people, you might decide you're boycotting Bachelor. You're going to put on a petition to cancel Chris Harrison. That's your right. That's your vote, is what you decide to consume, and keep supporting things you want to support. If you wouldn't mind, support my buddy Oz down here. This is his PayPal. If you catch this on a Friday, you had a paycheck, you want to slide him some extra money, just know that can help Oz, order some Uber Eats while he moderates the chat room. God knows the chat room, the bigger the channel gets, is going to be something that I'm going to have to keep an eye on to make sure we're all, like I said in a comment, it's like if you have a party and 30 people are there, everyone's going to be respectful when there's 30 people. But then all of a sudden, 250 people show up, someone tweets, Dave's got a party. Next thing you know, someone's peeing in my fiance's favorite vase. You know what I mean? Something sad and crazy happens when we lose accountability. So we're asking for accountability. We're asking for change. We're asking for people to understand that if these issues don't affect you, then that is a good privilege to have. It is a good privilege to have, but just know you can be an ally. You can look out for problematic behavior, and that should be a baseline for all of us. So to everyone in the comment section, thank you so much for all your positive comments. Thank you for those that challenge all of our ways of thinking. To everyone who commented, from Grace in Dominican Republic to Dre in Texas, Susan in Washington, Melissa in Utah, I'm missing a few. We had a nice caller from Georgia. To everybody else, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, thank you all so much. That's going to be it from me. Leave a comment in the actual video, not in the chat, but once the video goes live, leave a comment down there. I'll try to respond to everything in due time. This was my 5th video today, so I'm going to take the rest of the day off, cook some dinner, enjoy it with my loved ones. I wish that you guys can do the same. So everyone have an excellent, and let me make sure I get some decent music to play us off with. You got to always end with some good music here. So, I got to have a good one. I don't know. Are these good ones? Those vibes? This might be good. Let's see what we have here. Is this any good? Now, this is kind of lame. I kind of like this. All right, I'll play off with this one. And thank you guys so much for joining the conversation and for being here. And we got videos coming every day at this point. So I appreciate everyone supporting the channel. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Someone asked if someone actually peed in a vase because it was very specific. Well, I once threw a party in high school and a guy named Mark vomited in the dog's water bowl. Hey, Tasha, Leah says hi. Tasha says hi, Leah. Says hi. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate you. Thank you, Oz, Susan, Duchess of Essex, Jen. Jen Murphy said, tell Tasha sorry that we kept you. Tasha says, I'm doing a manicure. I'm fine. That's the whitest comment I've ever heard. I'm doing a manicure. I'm fine. All right, we'll do another hour. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks, B-Bean. Thanks, Leanne Linners. Elizabeth. Ruby Ray. First Dominican Republic call. I got to get a little map behind me on the green screen for every country that calls in. I'd love to get over to the DR. Do you remember that remember when a couple of people died from drinking rum in the Dominican and that was a big story? That was like a month before the pandemic happened. This song's too aggressive. Lisa Reed says, tell Tasha to post her cute Valentine's Day nails when she's done. I want to see the results. Tasha said, I was going to post a story, but the lighting's bad because the sun went down. Well, I'll tell you what, Tasha, our new place has recessed lights. What's happening with that? Yeah, we're moving in 2 weeks, folks. Still don't have license plates. Jen said, great show tonight. Excellent conversation. Good night, fam. Well, thank you so much, Jen. Appreciate it. Stay warm over there in Canada. Kimberly Chow says, Tasha's the coolest chick, LOL. I think so. I think Tasha's a pretty cool chick. You should see her wardrobe today. She's got her nice cloud sweatshirt on. Tasha's looking pretty fly today. Hey, Oz, did anyone chime in on PayPal for you? I'll make a better graphic next time. It was kind of made in haste. I apologize. Oh, Lisa Reed found out that moving her stuff is on a truck, and it'll be there Saturday, and they're going to give her a $50 discount. Well, that's not the worst ending to that story, Lisa. Natalie says, please make I Digress merch. Maybe Tasha can help me with that. Tasha's going to help me make merch. It's all coming. I appreciate you forcing me to make this. All right, I could talk all night. That's it for me. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate everyone's generosity. I appreciate everyone's willingness to listen and to call in. And we've come a long way, and we have a long way to go. All right, I digress, folks. The shirts are coming. Maybe I should make I digress panties. Panties and boxers. Tasha wants to know if the camera's off because I thought you were naked, and that's why. Now she's coming in. Yeah, the camera's off. All right, bye everybody. Tasha's stealing the. Everyone, go follow Tasha on Instagram at Tasha Courtney. She's posting her new nails right now, in the good lighting. Bye, Lisa. ER says you'll design me design me one. I'll put it on my merch store. I can have multiple designs. People can buy anything they want. Just make like a JPEG or a Photoshop or whatever and send it to my email, and we'll see what it looks like on a t-shirt.